And Beria, who was the KGB or NKVD head of the Soviet Union in 1934 at the International Communist Meeting, talked about this. He said it used to take 70 years to alter society in a cultural way to our advantage. Now, he said, in 1934, it takes 5 years through indoctrination of the intakes of children. Today is down to year by year by year through kindergarten. It's a scientific indoctrination so that they'll get brought up in a world where, yet brain chipping will be normal. Hermaphroditic beings cloned in laboratories will be normal, all kinds. There'll be no such thing as pedophilia anymore. That's another big goal. Destruction of all normalcy means you are defenseless against the big boys because you have no cultural values to hold on to and stand up for. When you can't stand up for anything, you are totally defeated.
You're now a blank slate that they can program anything they want into. You're an empty hard drive.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go over this, and then we're going to calls. I mentioned this last hour. Contestants turned torturers in French TV game show experiment. And here's the Stanford experiment from 71, where the professors themselves went crazy with the mock prison and torture and even began actually trying to hurt people and kill people. And they were telling people to mock executions that they thought were real, and they were actually carrying it out because of the mad, crazy power trip. And this was almost 40 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. This was 39 years ago. Think of how far they've taken us now. I want to play a Fox News clip of this torture show where we're all being taught it's beautiful and wonder. Roses aren't beautiful, beautiful green fields, beautiful oceans, love, innocence, honor. It's not good. Death, destruction, blood, torture. This is what's beautiful. This is what's good. This is your power. Your power to hate and kill and to give support to killing. An evil culture by design, so we're defenseless. Virtue, sovereignty is the antidote. States' rights, cutting the size of government, not putting your children in government training camps, warning everyone you know, getting upset, getting through the comfort zone, breaking out of your bubbles, realizing how serious and real this is, and that everything else you're being programmed with is fake. What's real is the government think tanks. What's real is the documents. What's real is what's really happening, not the false spectrum analysis projected on you that is literally a matrix-like system that we're now digitally, television all going now to 3D, which they admit is total mind control, makes you mentally ill, just total programming, drugging the water supply. We're deep into this technological dictatorship right now. Let's go to this clip.
Shows, well, it is that and then some. French producers actually mocked up a game show. Contestants were posed questions. If they got them wrong, they're commanded to throw a switch and zap a fellow literally on the hot seat. Now, it appears that he gets hit with electricity upwards of, 420 volts worth. All the while, the audience of this game show shouting, "Punish him! Punish him!" Take a look and listen.
Laissez-moi partir! Laissez-moi partir!
Bizarre. Contestants and audience are real. They think the game is real. The guy on the hot seat is an actor. He is faking it, and faking it very well. It looks like he's almost about to die. And here is the punchline. I saved the headline for last, John. While some of the contestants said no, they would not participate in this, 82% said yes and pulled the switch.
Pretty bizarre TV experiment. What's the reaction?
Well, producers are defending it. They say they're just updating a psychological experiment which was actually run in the United States about 50 years ago. But France is taken aback. I spoke to one top commentator, and his words to me are, it was stupid. It was crazy.
All right, let's
the French
stop.
Newspapers are doubling.
Last week, Georgian state-controlled TV broadcast that the Russians had invaded again. They never invaded to begin with. They have simulated cyber attacks, simulated terror attacks. They announce on U.S. TV it's fake only at the beginning. All of this War of the Worlds psychological brainwashing. This is done so people associate torture as fun. That's why they brought out the Abu Ghraib torture, was to get you ready to accept it. Now police all over the world are taught pain compliance, and a federal court and a state court have ruled police can now break arms and taser you to answer questions without a warrant. Alan Watt.
Yes, in fact, it's come out in different court hearings, or it's not even court hearings. I don't think it even goes to court when they taser people and kill them. That the police were now using tasers for compliance. Compliance that's what it's all about now, compliance. You comply, you do what you're told. There's no such thing as rights anymore. You're taught to simply obey or else. But sadomasochistic techniques have been bombarded into the public's brains by movies for the last 40 years, getting worse and worse and worse.
Stay there. We're going to come back and finish up on that, Alan. One of the headlines was in New York. I believe it was AP. Judge rules police can taser to make you answer questions, but you have a Fifth Amendment. Or court rules they can taser you to give DNA sample. I mean, you're in a gurney, strapped down, and they're tasering you over and over again, just enjoying it. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a scientific kill grid. Thousands of government documents say once the scientific dictatorship is in place, and they're getting close, they're not going to just soft kill a few million here and there. They're going to just kill in mass. Alan Watt's our guest. I want to go to Alex, Shannon, Dirk, Kay, Tim, and others. But, Alan, I see a blurring of reality and fiction with all these fake drills, or Russia attacked Georgia. It was a lie 2 years ago. It's a lie now when they ran the newscast nationwide. The people are very angry in Georgia. They have all these TV shows where they don't tell you it's real or not. They announce they've captured an al-Qaeda leader sometimes 14, 15 times, never retract the last time. They're scientifically setting the precedent where they just lie and deceive all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a technique too, because you see, this is it's a war off terror, not on terror. It's a war off terror. You always use terroristic techniques on the vast population when you're drastically changing quickly into a new system, and you want that for obedience and compliance. And that's what we're seeing happening now. When you see, there's so many television series out now on terrorism, and government agencies dealing with it all. And it's all so far-fetched and crazy scenarios. But people are lapping that stuff up. They can't tell fact from fiction anymore. They see the guys in the streets with the combat boots, the cops and all the rest of it. It's all quite normal to them. And what happens is you get into a state of flux. They call it flux at the top, where you can't rationalize reality and separate it from fiction and use your own perceptions to say, am I really under attack right now, or is it mainly in my head? But all the symbols are giving you is that you're under attack, comply, obey. And they can rush forward a whole agenda with rationing, fuel rationing, which will come to as they get us off the roads gradually into the new system. And as they're doing it, yes, they will step up the decadence within society, because when in the feudal systems, they knew that when they brought out someone who'd fought against them, a hero like like William Wallace, for instance, the peasantry would turn up living in their own misery, and they would actually hate someone who tried and failed, and they'd watch him being drawn and quartered and sliced up in a ritualistic killing on behalf of the king. And they'd cheer because they hate the losers. The public hate the losers. They know it within themselves. They're losers themselves, and they transfer it onto the victim who stood up and had the guts to stand up, but actually lost. This is the same technique they're showing you now. They're telling you you're nobody, you're weak, obey and maybe survive. If you don't obey, you definitely will not survive, because we'll get you. That's the message now. And they've borrowed all the terms that they used to use in the Soviet Union, like political correctness is a direct translation from them. So is anti-government. Any statement, any criticism of any policy at all is called now you're anti-government, which really would mean the opposition party is the most anti-government party around.
Well, we love our country. We fear and don't like our government if we have common sense. Here are some of the headlines. Kucinich kisses the ring as Obama deceptively sells totalitarian care in Ohio. Kucinich sells out on health care after ride in Air Force One. When I saw that photo yesterday, I knew Kucinich had sold out, with Obama smiling triumphantly. He's the type of psycho that hates America, hates good people. They enjoy destroying you. They enjoy making you poor. And now this medical tyranny that does have the ration care, does have the death panels, it's all coming in now, Alan.
You also get compulsory sterilization. That will be on the books, because look who's up there. Mr. Holdren, that wrote the book with Paul Ehrlich. Paul Ehrlich's wife is a high member of the Trilateral Commission and Council on Foreign Relations. And they wrote about that years ago, that they would bring in mandatory sterilization for the unfit, and that's coming down. Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying now, look at this mother that had a genetic problem and she had a kid. We need pre-screening to license you to have kids. And then, we have been taking your blood at birth for the Pentagon for 37 years. Globally, it started 37 years ago. We were in a world government 37 years ago.
Yeah, we were. And again, generations haven't even known it. But the big, apart from the Federal Reserve getting created back in the early World War I, the fact there'd be no World War I if it wasn't for that being created.